Hello, and welcome to this video where we will be exploring smart woman point therapy for some seasonal magic. So this upcoming Thursday is the Autumn Equinox, and that is the moment, the second moment in the year, excuse me, the wheel of the year where we go and we are in equal light and darkness. So there's balance there. You know, the first equinox was the spring equinox or the vernal equinox, and now we are here in the autumn equinox. So in the spring we were equal light and dark, but our light was growing, and so we went into the summer solstice, and now we're coming back down on the back end of the year where we are going to, after this day of balance, we're going to tip more into the darkness. And you know, depending on if you're more of a yin or a yang person or how you run your energy, you may prefer one part of the season over the other. I tend to be more of a yin person, so I actually love autumn and winter, and well, I don't mind some spring and summer. They're not my native seasons, but autumn and winter are my native seasons. So I am thrilled to be here with you today to talk about a couple oils and acupoints we can use. And we not only have, you know, our autumn equinox, it goes hand in hand with the Libra New Moon, because each season has 3 lunar cycles. And for autumn, we have Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. So we're starting with that cardinal initiatory air sign of Libra, and Libra goes again hand in hand with the autumn equinox. It's all about the balance. It's about equality and justice, and metal element is the element for fall in Chinese medicine. So here we go. We have that sword of righteousness. We have the metal. It is about justice. And almost like, I don't want to say reckoning, but there is something about fall, right? That process of stripping away of really what is the essence of things. There is a little bit of a reckoning, because what does no longer serve needs to be taken off so that we can consolidate into our core and find, you know, the essence of something, what is of most value. And Libra being the first full, you know, new moon, the first lunar cycle, is perfect because it's ruled by Venus, and Venus is the goddess of beauty. And again, there is beauty and poignancy in finding what's left when things are stripped away, when we are in a place of letting go, because what is frivolous or extraneous goes away, and what we're left is the gold, the nuggets, the metal, the precious metals of what is the most dense part of our lives. And you know, when we resist going into grief, you know, the grieving process, which is kind of in a way what Mother Nature does, but she doesn't personalize it, right? She lets go, like the leaves lets go, and the leaves drop to the bottom, and they become the compost for the next season. And we as humans tend to resist that letting go process because we value more the growth and the celebration. We value spring and summer, but autumn is, each season has its own energetic that can teach us about how to live in the life-death life cycle. And when we do let go, when we do come back into, again, we're going into that beauty piece of the poignancy of fall, and that release and letting go, and the harvest of the seasons that have come before. And you can see that in nature. I mean, the trees, they become vibrant and beautiful, and there is always that last gasp of appreciation before something is gone, right? If you think about time spent with loved ones, that last 10 minutes is the most poignant. Or when you know someone who is on the way out, their spirit is about to leave us. And you know, if you have a moment to gather with them and review and really take in and appreciate who they are, it's part of why we have funerals. is to gather around and celebrate the beauty and the preciousness of the life of the ones that we've lost. So we can use autumn to do that in our life. And I'm not going to go too far down that theme right now because this is a short video, but what I'd like to offer up are a couple of oils to embody, one to embody balance, and another to that balance between light and dark, and another oil to bring in some on our lung meridian to help us come into our breath, to come into this process of taking in and letting go. And so our two oils that I would like for you to gather are bergamot and a Cerro. And Cerro you may not be familiar with. It is not a popular essential oil. It is, it's a shrub. It's made from the leaf. It is from Madagascar, and it is a very sweet, pungent, very almost like light, innocent, but powerful smell. And if you don't have Cerro yet, because I have a feeling after I talk about it, you'll be like, I might need that oil. You can use Cypress. You could even use the bergamot on the point that I will use for Saro. But if you can get your hands on some Saro, please do, because it is such a sweet childlike oil. It is actually a great oil for children as well. It's not a heavy hitter in a sense of really a strong presence. It is more a light, ethereal, almost angelic, childlike, sweet presence that can really help us move some things through. So let's start with our bergamot. And if you've been following me for any amount of time, you know, me being, I'm Jenny King. I'm a licensed acupuncturist. I always forget this part. I'm a licensed acupuncturist. I'm an aroma point therapist, which is the marriage of an essential oil and an acupoint. And so we are going to start with our bergamot and Shen Men, which is, like I said, if you've been following me for any amount of time, it is like the gateway oil and point for aroma point therapy. And I think because it is so balancing, and we're using bergamot, which is this lovely balanced oil, it's uplifting, it's a citrus, it clears off our energy field, and we're going to put a drop of that on our pinky finger. And then drop that oil into this Shen Men Acupoint. So you have this triangle hollow in the upper ear. I'm just gonna drop both my fingers, one on each side, into this point. And this is the point in every video where I go from being my hyperactive talker to downshift with the oils. So, bergamot brightens, lifts, opens up, connects the left and right sides of the brain. What's more balancing than that? I feel like when this oil and point, it creates this almost, I feel this like meshing, or like almost like an infinity loop happen in this middle part of my brain. And in the middle is my pineal gland. So I feel like things balance, open, and it allows for more light to come in. And this is point, Shen Men, called Spirit Gate. I feel like it helps also connect us in with our higher selves, to turn on that light, to remind us we are mind, body, and spirit. So opening the Spirit Gate might help pierce through any darkness that may have descended upon us, to bring us back into that place of connecting with something bigger than our day-to-day self that goes through the motions of being in our human bodies. So bergamot on Shen Men, balancing, really bringing in that Libra energy of balance, also that equinox energy of light and darkness, you know, that equality, that place of equanimity, so that we can be and see the beauty that is around us. And then our second point is Cerro on lung 7. And this point is on our arm. So our lung channel is part of the metal element. Metal element in Chinese medicine is the fall element. So it goes from equinox to the solstice, the winter solstice. And metal is all about that release and letting go. It is part of the descending part of the cycle. And what better meridians, organ systems to represent metal and that letting go than our breath and our large intestine, colon, which helps release our what's not used, what's not what we don't need. And so we have this like taking in the preciousness and then letting go of the waste. And that is the lung and the large intestine. And the lung channel runs down the inside of the arm. So it's part of our wings. It is very much a part of our wing system. And the large intestine channel moves up the arm and comes actually right to the side of the nose. So really connecting it with our breath. So we are going to use a point called lung 7 on the arm, and it is the connecting point between the lung and the large intestine channel. So we're really connecting that taking in and letting go. This point is also the master point of the channel that runs down the front of the body. So really, not only are we connecting setting the intention of connecting our metal elements, the lung and large intestine, but we're also there's also that element of really bringing things into the core and into more of our yin, that containing aspect. And as we move through equinox, we are moving into the yin part of the year, right? That dark part of the year is the yin part, whereas the yang part is spring and summer. So what better way to honor that by using the master point for the yin? And so we're going to use the master point for the yin that also connects our lung and large intestine channels, which are connected to the metal element. Oh, we're going to take our hands. Let's find the point first real quick. You could take your the mouth kind of between your thumb and index finger and put them together, and then wrap your index finger around just over the bone here. And there is almost like a hollow if you move up the inside of your wrist. There's like a dip, and where your finger rolls over the bone and right into that dip is where our lung 7 point is. And you can kind of, if you finagle it, you can do them both at the same time. You may want to do them one and then the other, but that's where we're going to find our point. So take your oil and we're going to place it on our index finger. This is our Saro. It's always nice to smell them first because then it gives us a nice big warm hello. Going right into our mind, giving information to our mental body and also our energy body right off the bat before we even place it on the point where we're fine-tuning it. So I'm just going to roll right into my point on both sides because I can, but again, you can always choose to do it separately. One of the signatures of Cerro is, a lot of the pungent oils, like you can think of our tree oils, like the spruces and the cypress and pines are all, that pungent. They really are very lifting and opening for the respiratory system. So Cerro has a little bit of that, but it also has the sweetness. And sweetness really, I feel like it has very much to do with mother and child relationships. There's this tenderness and sense of nourishment that comes with the sweet fragrance and also flavor. You can think about honey. How much the sweet flavor. That's why we crave sweets when we're in crisis. I can feel my wings, sort of my wingspan wanting to open here. So as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to open my arms up And take a nice deep breath. I can also feel the energy moving in this lung space. Like, so if you have any sort of like clouds of grief or anything that's kind of in this space that's just lingering, it's going to want to, it's going to help that energy start to move and circulate and move off. And I'm just getting over COVID. Well, I'm 2 weeks out after it. And I still have some stuff. My lungs feel constricted, tight, a little spasmodic. And as it starts to move, I really want to have a nice big cough, but I'm going to hold it for just a few more minutes, maybe. We'll see. See what Saro wants to do for me. Anyway, so that's our second point. And then I'm going to open my wingspan up and take a nice deep breath in and exhaling. And then as I come in, I'm actually going to just wrap my arms around myself. So those are two oil and point combination. The bergamot on Shen Men I really like for the Libra energy, that balancing, especially for the mind. And then the Saro, which I really like also for the equinox, and really capturing and initiating that metal energy of that release, that starting to move any grief sitting here, because grief also comes with that diving down into that yin part of the year. And death and dying, and that whole process of letting go very much is affected by whether or not we can start to move and release the grief. Because if we just sit with it here, it becomes a lid, and it's hard for the circulation to really start, and it needs to start to move in order for things to be able to descend. Otherwise we just try to hold on. And I do want to share with you, in tarot, there is the Justice card is associated with Libra, and I think it's often a woman sitting on a throne, but I love this one. This is from the Tarot of the Cosmic Seed by Elania Simone, and this is just a gorgeous deck, and you can see these scales of justice, the Egyptian feather and heart here of weighing what is most important. And, the scales are the symbol for Libra. And I love, I do feel like our souls speak in image. Our souls speak in image. They also speak through, our five senses. So the sense of smell really can tap into those deeper parts of ourselves, as can our sense of sight and hearing and touch, all bring us into more than, our outward facing self to the world. And these are ways that we can shift the gaze and bring ourselves home to ourselves, to be able to find ways and processes to find more richness and joy, and even grief and joy and grief and beauty in those places. So that is the oil and point combinations for this time of year, for this week in general. If you would like to take it further, I have some events on the calendar this week on Thursday. Of course, I don't have the dates in front of me, but this Thursday, I'll put it in the comment section. I have the the equinox celebration, where we will do a 4 oil and point combination, starting with the Cerro on this lung 7. And then we also have yarrow, we have Cypress, and we have clary sage, our other friends that we're going to bring along for our protocol. We will go more into the depth of autumn, the metal element, and move through some things that maybe we want to get rid of, what grief looks like, and how it can serve us in the long term, and our further growth. So that's our autumn celebration on Thursday. And then on Sunday, I have the New Moon in Libra mini retreat, where we will sit in the darkness of the moon. We'll do some Qigong to call ourselves home, and then go more into the themes of balance, breath, and beauty, and Libra as the first new moon of the autumn season, how it ties in, how we can work with that energy. And as we weave in the first of the 3 lunar cycles of this autumn season. So if you're still watching, thank you for still being here. I will put some links below or within the comment section to give you more information about the classes, also how to dilute your oils or to source the oils from aromatherapy therapy. In case you're like, I need that Cerro, you will be able to find it more easily. And so that's it for today. So much love from my heart to yours. Take care.